right, everyone. Welcome to the Eighth Note Sessions. I'm Mike Shamil.
And I'm Devin Mullen.
And today our guest is Tracy Fletcher, the Executive Director of Music is Art. Tracy, thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Can you explain to our viewers what an Executive Director does?
Sure. And it's an added explanation because I am the only full-time staff person at Music is Art. So it's everything. It's everything from raising the money to put on our annual festival to all the programs that we run year-round, because a lot of people don't realize that we're more than just that one-day festival. Everything in between to keeping the lights on for headquarters, we call it. And, yeah.
And then, of course, serving as a liaison between different, the people that you're actually getting the money from and the people who are, creating the art and everything and making sure they're all copacetic.
And the board, I have a great 16-member board of directors behind me all the time. So if I do run into trouble, they're all right there with different expertise. So
it's a lot of resources to draw from. I mean, you have 16 different perspectives and different types of experience that you can apply a variety of situations. That must come in handy when you have so many different styles of music and so many acts and so many creative events, to have people of all these different expertises so that somebody's going to have a solution to a problem that's going to pop up. Am I right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have our board is a lot of musicians, so the creative people. We have attorneys and CPAs and a lot of teachers, which comes in handy for a lot of the things we do too. So yeah, a lot of different perspectives and a lot of the people who have the great ideas and the people go, okay, but wait, what about this? How are we going to do that? So yeah, it's a great mix of people.
And that's definitely the challenge with running any sort of, actually putting on an event. You need to balance the, sort of creative ambition side with, blunt pragmatism. Because these things cost money. And, Music is Art, it's admission free.
Right.
So
right.
I can't even imagine what it's like trying to lasso in just all the funds to get. How many stages are we up to at this point? What was the last
22 last year, yeah.
Yeah, 22 stages. I mean, that's insane. Just the technical staff, the babysitters, everyone.
Yeah, and we have the conversation every year that if you add up everything we're spending that day, a simple, inexpensive $5 admission from everyone would cover it, but we are committed to not doing that. We want to keep it free for people to attend.
Beautiful.
Which is awesome, because that keeps it open for a lot of people, because there are a lot of people that attend that event that may be one of the only concerts they get to all summer, because concerts have gotten very expensive and have this amazing local festival that has a variety of acts, and all these different styles of music. There's something literally there for everyone. And to not have to pay anything to get in, to just be able to hop down there and you can take public transit down there, or get in a car and carpool down there. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this isn't just an advertisement for Music is Art, which I do recommend our viewers check out if they have the opportunity to, because it's wonderful. All right, we're here to talk about Tracy. So
yes.
How do you? It's an interesting position to be the executive director for a music non-for-profit. How do you get there? What drives someone to occupy that position, really?
It's a long story, but in a nutshell, I started out in accounting, but actually I should back up. Of course, teenage Tracy wanted to be a rock star, and that wasn't in the cards because I have no talent, at least musically, and started out doing accounting for a travel agency, ended up doing corporate events where I took groups of people all over the world and planned every detail for them. And then I had my daughter and didn't want to travel so much, and so I started my own event planning company, got a business partner, and in 2008, landed Music is Art, the festival specifically, as a client.
that had to be like just, a real change in your career, because you went from, kind of a different realm of events to something a little more vibrant, yet still needing those, important organizational skills.
Yeah. Well, and, it was I did a lot of events. I did events for a lot of different companies. I did events for mostly nonprofit organizations. So when we got the Music is Art Festival as a client, it was amazing to me to finally have that music in my career in some way, shape, or form.
Well, it's interesting though, because we were talking about the origin of the name Music is Art, and while I do agree it's just a very truthful statement that's sort of obvious, it was actually meant as sort of a retort, right? So what to the Allentown Arts Festival, if I remember correctly. When you had started doing this, where was the festival at that point?
My first year, it was on the steps of the Albright Knox Art Gallery only, with I think 2 stages.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I've gotten to watch it grow from the steps of the art gallery to closing down the street, to growing across the street into Delaware Park and all throughout the park and around Hoyt Lake, to, after 5 years of Mother Nature beating us up, finally making the decision to move it somewhere where we could mostly be covered.
So does that mean that next year at Riverworks, you guys going to use that like sky course where you climb up all the ropes and stuff, and have someone playing a ukulele up there and a few other people just kind of like hanging literally around and listening?
Yeah, probably zombies or something. Yeah.
Because that just that would be cool, or maybe finding like a roof to play on top of. I think that's you guys already have a boat stage. At this point the sky's the limit.
Yeah, drones, planes, I don't know. You never know.
Somebody like with a wireless mic coming down the zip line.
Yep. We tried to get Robbie to do it last year, and I think we couldn't find it this time.
That's definitely, there definitely has to be a rather significant random element, though. I mean, taking a bunch of creative types, getting them to exist in a space, it has to be a little bit like herding cats, I would imagine. What's a particularly noteworthy, like, emerging incident or maybe a challenge you didn't expect that came up while planning one of these festivals?
Most things, as we have a post meeting one year and start talking about ideas for the next year so we can budget for them, I actually have a budget line called "Wouldn't It Be Cool If?" Because inevitably we think we have it all planned out and know exactly what we're going to do, and inevitably a month before the festival, Robbie will say, "Wouldn't it be cool if we did?" And yeah, I'm sure it's going to be.
That was a good impression.
Yeah. So now that's a budget line.
That's a wise way to budget, because creative types, I mean me being one too, like sometimes that idea just comes out of nowhere and you have to go when inspiration strikes, right? But that may not always be realistic, and so it's nice to know that there's like just some contingency kind of squirreled away just in case, to be like, well, you know what, since you came up with the idea, we can do that. Here you go. I'm going to send somebody to go find some fire extinguishers, and we will have that effect. We will shoot fire extinguishers over the models as they come out the runway. We got it, and we'll have it in time. No sweat.
Hang someone upside down in a straitjacket? Sure, we can do that. No problem.
Oh, that seems easy. I don't see why not.
I'm still waiting for the entire festival is just in like a big tarp and blacklit sort of thing. Glow in the dark, going to a planetarium.
We could do that with A stage. Yeah, that would be fun.
No, the entire thing, the entire compound. I just want helicopters, Chinooks dropping a tarp, UV lights everywhere. I mean, how hard could it be?
Well, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if we did that?
Oh man.
Now, I imagine, like in any organization, and any type of business or creative pursuit, networking is really important. It's really important to get to know the other people, doing the same stuff as you, but also people that are in similar businesses that, you might depend on or might depend on your services. How has networking been a really useful tool for you to support music as art?
Well, it's funny because there's so many different ways that I have to network in my position. I'm networking with different corporations, as hopeful sponsor prospects. I'm networking with other cultural organizations with, how do you guys do this? And musicians, artists, it's a lot of it. But luckily, it's pretty easy with my position because we're in a position that everybody, at least in Buffalo, knows music is art.
Yes.
So it's really easy for me to get, those doors opened to have those conversations.
And being mostly, not all of it, obviously, but you made a point of saying that you're the only full-time employee. So I assume a lot of the operation is done through like goodwill and volunteering and donations and things like that. So how can the average just like appreciator of the festival, but maybe not musician type, how can they support? How can they get involved with it?
Well, just shoot us an email and tell us what you're good at, and we'll most likely find you a spot. I mean, you guys are the perfect example, right?
Yeah.
But our festival is mainly the spot where we need the most help every year. We have 64 on the festival committee that come from all different backgrounds. Because, as you know, the festival is not just about music. We try to incorporate every creative aspect we can. So we have the live art, we have dancers, we have DJs, we have spoken word, and just everything we can think of. So we have those people. When we come up with an idea that we need to add dance groups, we went out and found someone that knew that world, because I don't. And so those 64 people help us with all those details, all volunteer. And then just to run the show that day, I believe last year was like 250 volunteers.
Wow.
Throughout the day that work in show for, help us pull this thing off every year.
Do they get like a free T-shirt or a beer koozie or something?
Something, yeah.
No.
Now, outside of the festival, what other events and what other things does Music is Art do for the community here in Buffalo?
We need to do a better job of actually educating our community at what we do, because most people know us for the festival, understandably.
Yeah. And it's actually, to some people's surprise, more than that.
Right, yeah. I've had people say to me, well, what do you do in the winter? I'm like, well, number one, I'm planning for the festival, but we also have an annual Battle of the High School Bands. That's a lot of fun. And we really try to work education into everything we do. So when we're doing the Battle of the High School Bands, it's not just about an event where they're battling, but it's about educating them on how to communicate with someone who's producing a show like that. And I've had to learn right along with them, actually, because, I'm an old school emailer and people these days want to text and message. So it's teaching them all that kind of stuff. We also do a Jazz Fest every year. And again, it's high school kids, but we're bringing them in all over Buffalo to show them a recording studio, show them the Colored Musicians Club, bring them to different musical hotspots within the city. And it ends with an evening performance. And the biggest and newest one that I think right now we're most proud of is the Music Industry Alliance program that just started. Nice show. Just started, believe it or not, because you guys have been involved for a long time. It just started last March. So it's only just over a year old. And I think we had another new member join today. So I think we're up to 104.
All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that it's been an incredible experience. And that program all started from the unfortunate demise of a lot of other programs we did. So over the years, Music is Art had dabbled in a bunch of different programs that either worked or didn't work for whatever reason. Well, I always kept track of the pieces that we loved of programs. And one day I was mourning the loss of a summer camp we did for high school kids pretty successfully, but we were having trouble getting that age group to become engaged, because what we found was in the summertime that the older teenagers have jobs now. They don't have time to take a week off to go to a summer camp.
Yeah.
So
That's tough.
Yeah. So I'm going through my list of like what we want to do versus what, we've been able to do. And I was going through a pile of old articles that people had written about Music is Art over the years. And I stumbled upon one that Jeff Myers wrote in 2015 as a review of our festival that year.
How sassy was it?
I believe, don't quote me, but I think the title was something to the effect of "Music is Art is all about heart." And it was a great article. Yeah, the main sentiment of the article was that what he enjoys most about the festival is it's that one day a year that every musician, no matter the genre, comes together to listen to each other perform and to learn from each other. And I was like, that's what I want to do every day, not just one day a year. So that's really how the Alliance was born.
And I mean, speaking, just to the success of the Alliance in that regard, I've sort of done what I considered to be impossible and actually encountered people that I like and have formed solid friendships and discovered things about myself I didn't know. Like, it's rather startling. So you're normally there's a membership fee for that, right? But it's getting postponed as it stands.
There is, with the way that the program was built, because again, we have bills to pay. The way the program was built, it was membership fee based to become a member of the Alliance. And with the pandemic, and obviously the 104 members we have are musicians that have unfortunately found themselves out of work, we've waived the renewal for memberships for now. I mean, we haven't even talked about when it's going to be reinstated yet. It's not like it's phase 5 or anything like that. We're hoping still to get some grants, maybe to even be able to do away with that. That would be ideal, in my dream right there is we wouldn't have to charge a membership fee at all.
So just a quick aside then, and a little bit of a plug for this. If any of you are watching this video at home and you know of a musician or technician or guy who likes to do album artwork or, anything, the Music Industry Alliance is a great sort of gateway into a broader musical community. It will give you resources that will teach you how to improve your craft and give you the kinds of relationships you can, sort of incorporate into your own life to remain stimulated in it. It's so much easier to go into it from a communal standpoint than individually. So that's my spiel on that.
Thanks.
And I got to tell you, from my own experience as a musician, when you start making friends in the music scene and you start getting to know the other bands and swapping shows and trading CDs and getting to know each other, you go from being like that like 3-piece band on stage that doesn't know a soul and is standing in front of a bunch of strangers and feeling really out of place, to being like, this is like my hometown. These are all friends, and if they're not friends, right now, they're going to be after this set. And you start feeling like a lot more confident in your playing ability, because you're no longer just alone. You get to know other bands and the musicians, and you share a lot of stories about some of the same challenges you deal with, and you realize I'm not the only one dealing with it, and you can kind of bounce ideas off each other and make this scene a lot more fun and a lot stronger as a whole.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of the major successes of Music is Art. I mean, at least, and I might just be speaking for myself on this, but there's always going to be this sort of elitist element to music because there are gates to how you can engage with it, and it's on arbitrary things such as socioeconomics, where you are geographically. Music as art seems to be really unifying in that regard. You don't need a bank account to go. You don't need to have a particular education to appreciate it or to find something that you really like. You just have to show up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There's no barriers. We try to have something for everyone, from young kids to grandma and grandpa. There's going to be something there for everyone.
Beautiful.
Now, where would you like to see music as art kind of head in the future? Like, what do you see down the road from this point? 'Cause sorry. Now that you guys have built up a lot of steam and you've got a couple programs and you've learned over the years what things seem to work and what things don't, what can you derive from all that information about the future?
Oh gosh, we're actually just started to get super organizational. We just started a new strategic plan to kind of hash those things out. Where do we want to be in 5-10 years? And I think that the Alliance is going to be a huge part of that. For a brand new program, it's incredible to us that the success of it, and doesn't look exactly today like it did in the original plan. And that's because all you amazing musicians come to us with, well, we should do this or we should do that. And we're like, perfect idea. Let's do that.
Wouldn't it be cool if?
Right? Yeah. So I think, I think that's only going to continue to grow. And we want to be able to provide more resources for you guys, for the musicians here in Western New York.
We are very, very appreciative of it.
Yes, thank you.
So I think we're just about at time. So, Tracy, what's your assessment of the Buffalo music scene overall? Are we in a good place? Have we reached the mountaintop, or do we still have a ways to go in terms of having a community?
Gosh, I see both sides of that, I guess. I think even with the birth of the Alliance, I know I've learned more. I always had a bit of a pulse on it, but not as much as a musician probably does. I think it's incredible. I think we just need to do a better job for the local non-musicians to come out more and see it and hear it. And I know that there's a lot of bands that I've only met through the Alliance that I now go out to see on a regular basis. And so many new members that maybe haven't done a showcase for us yet, or I haven't caught doing a live stream, that I now can't, I can't, I'm jonesing to go see them live. This needs to end. So I think it's pretty incredible. And we just need the rest of the world to know that now.
Now, with all the experience you have and all the things that, you've seen over the years, what do you think that is still missing from the Buffalo music scene? What's a missing part of the machine to make it run better?
Gosh, I don't know, because I would say one of the pieces of the puzzle would be, the right venues, but I think we have a really nice mix of venues here. The quality of the musicians is phenomenal, if you ask me. Yeah, I don't know. It's that supporting live music. And I think luckily, one good thing that's going to come out of this whole era that we're living in the last few months, I think people are going to realize more than ever how important live music is.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden they didn't have it for the last 9 or who knows how many more weeks. So the live streaming that you've all been doing is amazing. It makes us feel a little more normal, but yeah.
It's not the same.
No. And I think people realize that now more than ever. I think it's going to be a good thing for the local music scene, that people are going to be like, I'm never missing that opportunity again. Let's go.
Come on down, we're waiting for you.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard for years that people would, say things like, "Oh, YouTube is going to replace, live shows. No one's going to want to go to shows anymore. Everyone's going to want to home and sit on their computer." And now that everyone's forced to, we're finding, oh, this is just not as fun.
Yeah.
This is dystopia. Yeah.
It's like, where's my sweaty dive bar, packed to the gills with people and beer on the floor? Like, where's my plate of piping hot wings and my, and my music? Like, it's just not the same when you're sitting there eating a hot pocket, and
Right.
in the sweatpants you wore for the last 5 Zoom meetings, watching someone's live stream.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
So true. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for coming out and answering our questions and educating us a little bit tonight.
No, thank you guys. This is amazing, these 8-note sessions you're doing. I love them.
Thank you. And with that, I'm Mike Shamil,
I'm Devin Mullen.
and this has been the 8th Note Sessions. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Here's a preview of Capability by Moldy Foliage.
Day-to-day life today feels like a means to an end. There's more for you in this world than existence, my friend. You don't even know what you're capable of. Don't even know what you're capable of. You don't even know what you're capable of.
Check out their music at facebook.com/moldyfoliage. The 8th Note Sessions is produced by Music is Art. Please consider donating to Music is Art to keep programs like this going at musicasart.org. Thank you for listening.